And the data sometimes is not very homogeneous, so we are working on improving that. But we already had close to 40 billion. So the second block is, okay, so now I have the common rail, and I have this new layer that I can put on the top of it that generates competition and openness. So everybody can see the data. You probably will start getting information from the bank that you could do a better product at a different rate in other bank. Pretty soon you're going to be able to consume a product and compare rates for financing in real time. So when you have the aggregators, some companies are working on that. So those are two blocks. But then we thought, okay, we need this to be international. And here is a different dimension, which is how can I bring efficiency in the cross-border payments? One thing that I've been BIS for a long time now, and every year there is this talk about, let's do cross payments and we need to improve that and improve, and it's been very slow. So I think one of the things that we central bankers collectively have kind of failed is to design a cross payment system that's very efficient. Not too long ago, if I asked you what is the easiest way to transfer $10 million from Brazil to London, and I put one of the options like multiple choice, a plane, that would be the right choice.
Well, it's interesting as you step back and look at this. If you and I decided we were going to send $10,000 to California today, the fastest way for us to do it would be to drive to the airport and fly it there.
It's true. So I'm sure SWIFT is improving and we have new technology. But today I see a lot of people talking about common currencies and which currency is going to prevail and are we going to a de-dollarization? And when I look at the technology and the solutions that technology can offer, I think this debate is very outdated. Because if every country has a digital currency and we are able to connect those currencies digitally, in a fast and secure way, you actually have achieved the goal of having a common currency without actually having to sacrifice your monetary policy or freedom internally. So I think the days of discussing common area and this with the digital payments and the ability to connect those,
I think it's over.
By the way, from a year and a half ago, 2 years ago to now, we have now these systems that we actually can connect centralized systems to DLT systems just as fast as DLT to DLT. So the idea that crypto is always going to be better than a system that connects CBDC is no longer true. So this is the third block. And then the fourth block of the plan, so a rail, then the open finance, which opens the data, then internationalization part, and then the last one is the tokenization. So we want to have these 3 blocks, but we want to take a step further. So we want to make sure that people start to see banks, not in an account way, but in a token way. So we wanted to have our digital currency. There was a lot of debates within central banks on how to do digital currency. I never liked any of the ideas, to be honest with you, because there is always this moment in the middle of the discussion in which you would stall, because the more adoption the CBDC had, the more you would impair the ability of the banks to do credit. So I always thought that was a problem. But there is one problem in the DLT space for digital currency that hasn't been solved yet. Not for us, not for anybody. So when you look at the CBDCs out there, they are not actually full DLTs. They are hybrid, which means that you have the DLT part inside the central bank, but then you have centralized for outside. And the question is, why is it that you haven't solved this problem? Well, because DLT platforms were made by people that wanted openness, so everybody can see what everybody else is doing. So the question is, how can you have a DLT platform so that you have the benefit of the nodes producing the registration and the contract without affecting the privacy issue? So this is the most challenging part. Nobody has solved this problem yet. I think we are very close to doing so. There's one other company in the US that's very close to doing so too. There are many different ways of doing it. I won't get into that because it's very technical, but you have the token shield, which you blur different tokens and then you only choose one. There is a 2-layer system. There's many ways of doing it. So basically, we have these 4 blocks. We have PIX, we have open finance, internationalization, and the DREX. And now we think about what comes next.
So, no, it's very simple. So I think one thing, if there is one message that you can get in this room is Ripple is not an ordinary company. We are not here to have a small market share or do X, do Y, and make small amount of money or something to happen. We are here to make a dent in the universe. Either we will change the remittance universe, the way you understand, the way value gets transferred across the world, between people, between institutions, or we will just fade away.